Hello and welcome to the Providence College Podcast. I'm your host, Liz Kay, and I'm joined by producer Chris Judge of the class of 2005. Here on the Providence College Podcast, we bring you interesting stories from the Friar family. This week, we're talking with Catherine Moran, a member of the class of 2023 from Franklin, Massachusetts. Moran is a marketing major who just finished up an internship at a marketing firm in Providence. She's also been figure skating for years and serves on the exec board of the college's figure skating club. Catherine, it's great to talk to you today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell us about your internship in the fall. Where were you working and what were you doing there?
So I started actually in June at Trailblaze Marketing, and I was a growth marketing intern. So all through the summer, I worked with my advisor, Sam Reed, and I did a lot of sales kind of stuff. I worked on like the HubSpot suite, did a bunch of stuff like that, and I liked it, but didn't know if I necessarily wanted to continue with that in my career. So I was given the opportunity to stay in the fall and work with a different person, Shay Weintraub, and she kind of brought me into the creative side. So I did a lot of stuff with our TikTok team. I made a lot of content, got to use Canva a lot and post things for ourselves and for different clients. And I kind of found that that was my passion, and I like that a lot. So I'm looking for something after graduation in the digital marketing field. But I'm so happy that I was able to kind of narrow it down. What I thought I wanted to do wasn't actually exactly right for me, but I was able to figure it out.
Well, that sounds like a very happy outcome. You got to test the waters, see what was out there, and kind of refine and fine tune your career ambitions. So how did you get connected with Trailblaze in the first place?
So my internship application experience was not easy, to say the least. I was looking for something in the Providence area. I'm living off campus, knowing that I was going to have an apartment here. I don't live too far from here at home. So I was looking, either remote or close to home or close to here. There was not a whole lot in the area. So I was pretty much just applying anything that I could find. And most things just never heard back or, just didn't work out. And then I had some panicked conversations with Tess White from the business school, and she kind of helped me out and sent me different things, and I ended up applying for the internship at Trailblaze through Handshake and heard back within like a couple days. They set up an interview, and it was very quick, and I think I joined like a week later.
So let's talk a little bit more about that. Tess is, she's actually a member of the Chirico Career Education Center's team, but sort of embedded in the business school.
Business school, yep.
Right. So she works with all kinds of business majors, helping them with their career journeys. So when you were struggling to apply, were you applying through Handshake, which is kind of a repository of job listings?
I was doing everything. LinkedIn, Handshake, Indeed, like anything I could find. I was emailing people. I think that's kind of one of the good things as a marketing major. I'm sure they do it in other classes too, but in most of my classes, we have to do an assignment where we'll submit like an updated resume, or we'll have to do networking, and we'll have to do interviews with people in the field that we want to be in. And we're like forced to make that extra step as a grade. So that definitely helped me, just kind of putting my foot out there and like reaching out to anybody who would answer me. It was just like LinkedIn DMs, just to anyone. But that was super helpful. And you don't always hear back from everybody, but that's okay. And then, so I was kind of hoping that I would find something through that, but didn't really work out that way. So that's when I started meeting with Tess. And she was like, it's okay, we can figure it out. And we did. It was great.
And this might seem kind of intuitive, but what were you hoping to gain from an internship? Why were you looking for an internship last summer?
So I actually was a business management major my freshman and sophomore year. So I switched to marketing the end of my sophomore year. And I then didn't have an internship for that summer because I had just made the switch, had really no idea what I wanted to do, and kind of just missed the deadlines with that. So then going into senior year, I was like, okay, I need some experience. I need to, get into the working field. I need something on my resume that's not like my summer job. So I knew I needed something, and eventually found it.
So I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about how you came to Providence College and how Providence College was even on your radar in the first place.
Yes, so I have been a Friar since the time I was born. My mom was the class of 1989, and she is a diehard Friars fan. She tries to go to every basketball game that she can. So I, growing up, was going to different sporting events, constantly spending time with her friends and roommates and stuff from PC. Those are still her best friends to this day. And then 3 of her college roommates ended up having daughters within a year of each other and her. So there's 4 of us, and we all ended up at PC together. 2 were graduated last year, and 2 of us are graduating this year. And we've been best of friends since we were born. One of them lives in the same town as me, so we've always grown up super close. Birthday parties, everything was spent together. I consider them my cousins.
I was just going to ask, so did you grow up near, did all of you kind of settle in Massachusetts or?
3 of us are in Mass and 1's in Rhode Island, so not far.
So definitely you could maintain that connection.
Yeah.
Like you basically grew up together.
Yeah. Yep.
And then found yourself in Friartown.
Yes, I was actually the last one to commit. I knew I wanted to come here. It was just, making the decision. And then once the other one in our grade committed, I was like, okay, I can't be the only one. I have to go. So, yeah.
We're going to count that as positive peer pressure.
Yes, yeah. I knew I wanted to come here anyway. But that final.
There's lots of students who are legacy students. We'd call them at Providence College who have a parent or grandparent or sibling who've come to Providence College. But you really are following in your mother's footsteps because she was a marketing major too.
She was, yeah.
So how did you pick marketing ultimately?
So yeah, I had started as business management. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and kind of coming in, I was like, okay, that seems like the most broad out of the 4 majors in the business school. I knew I didn't really want finance or accounting, but didn't really know what marketing was. And I was kind of like, oh, I'm not creative enough for that. So I did business management. I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. I'll start with this. And then once I took principles of marketing my second semester sophomore year, I was like, okay, I would definitely want to do this. This is more my thing. So I switched right away, and I've been super happy ever since.
You're in your final semester now.
Yeah.
What have been some of the more memorable classes you've taken?
Right now, outside of the business school, I haven't taken a whole lot other than like core classes and stuff. But for like fun elective kind of things, I took American Musical Theater with Professor David Cabral my sophomore year online, and I loved it. Thought it was so much fun. I had never seen a musical before in my life, which not a lot of people believe.
You're the Hamilton generation.
Yeah, I know. So I was totally out on a whim. I just needed something to take, and that was one of the only things as a sophomore. It's hard to find some classes to just fit with your schedule, and that was one of them. And now this semester, I'm also taking history of costume and design with him, and I'm doing an independent study with him. So I'd never taken a theater class or anything in high school, and now it's like a fun thing to do.
So you had never seen a musical.
Nope.
You'd never taken theater before, and then you found yourself in this class. What was it about this class that you enjoyed so much?
I think it was just different from my other classes. It was, not a whole lot. I mean, there were no tests and that kind of stuff, but we would watch like a musical for homework, and then during class we would just come back and talk about it and just kind of, hear everybody else's descriptions and what they thought. And it was more of just like a big seminar rather than like, watch this musical and then we're going to take a quiz on it, or like, write a paper, which we did write some papers, but they were more fun and like interesting to me, especially in a topic that I didn't know that I was interested in.
And which musicals did you watch? Or which stand out in your mind?
Yes, I'd never seen any. So we watched Kinky Boots. That was really good. And we got to watch a like live rendition of it in London, online, of course, but that was really good. Saw Wicked, and then I ended up seeing Wicked this past summer live, and it was like incredible.
Did you see it at the Providence Performing Arts Center?
No, I saw it in Boston.
Oh, neat.
With my mom, and it was great. What else did we see? I don't know. Some of them were, I don't even know.
more
like
obscure kind
there
of?
were some smaller ones. Some of them I personally was not a huge fan of. But yeah, those two definitely stood out. And especially people like always talk about them. I think we did actually watch Hamilton too.
And so that inspired you to continue to take classes with Professor Cabral?
Yes. Yep.
And tell us about your independent study.
So we actually haven't started it yet. But I had pretty much I had taken it with one of my roommates at the time. And then we've told all of our roommates, like, you have to take this class. You have to take him as a professor. Like, it's great. And then, so at the time, he was thinking about doing a musical theater 2 class. So we had watched musicals going up to about like the 2000s. So he was going to make a second class with musicals from like 2000s to now. But there just wasn't enough interest, and then that would have to be a prereq for this class. So we're just doing an independent study, me and 2 of my roommates, and it's kind of just the same thing, but with musicals that are from a little more recent times.
So it was from your sophomore year on, are you like now belting out show tunes? Like, is this
really
on your Spotify?
No, not really. I really haven't watched a whole lot of musicals since then, other than going to see Wicked. But definitely like a new appreciation for it.
I feel like this is a great segue to start asking you about figure skating.
Yes.
Because you are just a figure skater, but you have a very specialized form of figure skating. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So growing up, I did synchronized figure skating. So it's pretty much like synchronized swimming, but on ice. So there's like 8 to 16 girls out there at once doing all the same thing. I did not like skating by myself from the time I was like 7 years old. I just didn't like it. So I was thrown into this by one of my coaches, and I loved it. Did that through senior year of high school. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of opportunity with skating in college. And the schools that I was looking at, not a lot of them had synchro teams. So that kind of made it tricky, but I knew I still wanted to skate in some form. So I had, 2 girls on my team were at PC, and they were on the exec board for our club here. And they were like, oh, like, I know you're interested in the school, like, just to let you know, this is what we're doing. And at the time, they were cheering at hockey games and stuff, skating during intermissions. So I went with my mom to some of the games that we watched, and I decided, you know what, this is good. This is exactly where I want to be, and it still has skating, even if it's not the same type. So, I mean, I'm still skating on a team too. It's not necessarily me just alone. And I've met some of my best friends through it. I love it. We practice 2 to 3 times a week. We have a competition next weekend. It's great. It was a great transition from skating 5-6 days a week in high school to then something a little more low key, but still being able to get out there.
And have you yourself been out on the ice during hockey games? Are you now cheering at games?
We don't anymore since COVID and stuff, but freshman year I was out there, and it was a lot of fun.
And so you've been skating since you were really young, like what?
Yeah, almost 17 or so years now.
And what did you like about it? How did you get started?
I don't know. My parents kind of just threw me into like a bunch of different sports. My dad played soccer growing up, so he just wanted me to be that soccer star, and I did not like it. I was the little kid like on the field picking the grass. And so they put me in skating with like some of my neighbors just for learn to skate. We had like a pond near us. So they were like, all right, well, we'll put you in learn to skate so you can learn how to skate on the pond next year or whatever. And I don't know. I just kept going with it, and my neighbors kind of started dropping out, and I loved it. Yeah, kept going.
But it amazes me that as a synchronized figure skater, that you like show tunes were not part of the repertoire. Like you weren't performing.
So we totally did skate to Hairspray. We skated to Wicked. We skated to a bunch of different musicals, and I don't know why. So I like knew some of the music, like watching the musicals. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this. I fully skated to this when I was younger, but I just have never seen it. I don't know.
It's just like this hole in your cultural exposure in life. Like musicals were just not there. Like you didn't watch musical I'm sorry to keep obsessing with this. Like, how did you never see a musical?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like my mom never really like was watching them. We never went to see shows or anything, but she's seen them. I don't know. It just didn't happen. I don't know. And I guess I didn't realize how like weird that was until I took the class and everyone's like, oh yeah, I've seen this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh no.
But like even if you hadn't seen it in the theater, like, you know, they're musical films.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
films
No, I had, yeah.
Never seen them.
Nope.
Well, very grateful that Professor Cabral was able to rectify this void in your life.
Yeah.
And it clearly has made an impact on you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would say really shaped your path at Providence? Or like,
I don't know. I would just say from the time that I committed here, I was just so excited to be here and seeing how much fun and like how much my mom loved this school. I was so excited to have a similar experience in my own way. And it's totally lived up to it. I mean, it's definitely been hard having COVID in the middle of it. It kind of threw a wrench. But it kind of at the same time I met a lot of people through that. I did a lot of different things. I was actually remote one semester and lived with some of my friends elsewhere. And I never would have been able to do anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just, as much as it was an unfortunate thing, it still is, a lot came from it, and I've learned a lot from it. And I think the school handled it so well, too. I have so many friends at other places, and that it was just so different, our experiences. And I mean, I'm biased, but I prefer ours. But yeah, I mean, I love being here. I'm so sad to graduate. We're like, I got the email this morning about like the legacy dinner graduation weekend. I called my mom and was like, oh, did you see the email? They're already planning. They're planning senior week stuff, but it's coming up. They ordered my cap and gown. But so, yeah, trying to just live every moment.
So I think you also alluded to this a little bit earlier in the conversation, but so what are your thoughts for that time after concert?
Yeah, so I'm just applying again, anything I can find, networking, trying to work with some professors and just trying to find anything that I can. Trying to set up interviews and things. I'm hoping to go into digital marketing after graduation, but we'll see. Just kind of in that application process again, and it's hard, but knowing how rewarding it was when I was looking for an internship this time last year, I'm hopeful. And just keeping my eyes open.
Probably haunting Tess White's office again.
Oh yeah, I probably will be. Yeah.
Catherine, it's been so wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Subscribe to the Providence College podcast in all the usual places, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify, as well as your smart speaker. If you like what you hear, please review and share with others. Thanks for listening, and go Friars.